Coach Jen here with Shift Human Performance. Today I'm going to be talking about how to warm you up effectively before your next mountain bike race. I like to call it WARP, W-A-R-P. The W stands for warm up. That's going to be the first phase of your ultimate warm up for your mountain bike race. This is where you're warming up your body, you're increasing your heart rate, just loosening up and waking up probably from an all-night slumber. The A and the R in WARP both stand for activate and range. We're going to activate the muscles in the next phase as well as work them through the full range of motions that's needed for the mountain bike race that you're participating in. Now, this includes things like dynamic stretches, things like that. This is where bands are going to come in handy. Any type of bands that you have will definitely come in handy, but they're definitely not necessary. Last but certainly not least is the P in WARP, and that's for prime. This is where we are adding some powerful movements to your body to help activate that CNS, get you moving, and get you primed and ready for being at the start of that race, ready to go. So first of all, let's go over activate and range. So with this, we're going to get that band. Now, if you have the super band, you can triple roll that super band into 3 loops. You can use it just the same, okay? Choose whatever resistance you want. You're going to want to go ahead and put both legs into that band. Have that band just above the knees, okay? Now I'm going to talk about the 7 movements that you're going to want to go through with this activate and range series. The first movement are going to be bandit kickbacks as well as bandit side kicks, okay? So first things first, you're going to go ahead, stand tall, get balance on one leg. I'm balancing on my left. I'm going to go ahead and loosen my right leg off the ground. From here, I'm going to do some bandit kickbacks to activate my glute. I'm going to do a total of 10 per leg. I'm just going out at an angle, squeezing that butt, then 10 side kicks out to the side. Still balancing on that left leg, keeping my torso as stable as possible. 10 per leg, go ahead and duplicate it on the other leg. Next, single leg deadlift. You don't need the band for that because they're hard enough without the band. With this, you're going to stand nice and tall. Do the same thing. You're going to get balance on one leg. Check behind you to make sure you're not going to kick anything. All right. From here, get that balance on that left leg. You're going to hinge at the hips, keeping that right toe down facing the ground. Get balanced here. You can bring your arms out in front of you to increase your balance. Keep those hips as stable as possible or as level to the ground as possible. Come back up. An alternative for this, a way to modify this, is to bend that back leg. It can make it a little bit easier to balance on. Tension, your toe facing the ground the whole time, keeping those hips nice and even. For these, you just need to do 5 per leg. You don't need to do any more. They're already complicated enough. Next, world's greatest stretch. It is, by all means, my favorite stretch. You're going to get down into a lunge. So 90 degrees with your rear leg, 90 degrees with your front leg. Left leg is in front. I'm going to go ahead, squeeze that butt on your right side to give support for that hip flexor stretch. From here, you're going to go ahead, reach for the ground with both hands. Hold it here for a few seconds, maybe 3 seconds or so. Then plant that right hand. Whatever knee is in front of you, that's going to be the side that you're going to turn that torso, twist, and reach for the sky with the other hand, okay? Hold this for 5 seconds. Come back down. You can do an elbow tap or tap with your hands. Get a nice stretch. Whatever the range is for you. This is all your warm-up. With the world's greatest stretch, you're going to want to do 3 stretches per side, okay? I'll switch. Just remember, whatever knee is bent in front of you, that's going to be the direction that you're going to turn your torso towards, okay? Next, shoulder taps. We're already down on the ground, so just stay here. You're going to come out into a plank. Widen those legs. Get a nice stable base. My hands are just underneath my shoulders here. From here, I'm going to try to keep my torso as stable as possible. Do 5 shoulder taps per side. You can come down to your knees and do them as well. Whatever is good for your skill level. Inchworms. Start in a standing position. From here, nice and tall. You're going to hinge at your hips. Reach for the ground. Get a nice stretch in through the hamstrings, a little bit of glutes and low back. Reach for that. If you can't reach that, reach for your shins. Then you're going to come down, crawl out with your hands into a plank. Do a push-up here or push up here on your knees if you need to. Then come up. You're going to inch your hands to your feet to your hands rather. Stretch, hang out here, stand up. With inchworms, do 3 to 5 reps of those. Then, good mornings. This is especially important for the taller athletes in the crowd who are watching this right now. You're going to go ahead, bend at those hips, standing tall, feet are just underneath your hips. You're just hinging at your hips. For these, you're going to do a total of 5 to 10. You're going to get a nice stretch in the hamstrings here, as well as glutes and low back. Stand all the way up, squeeze that butt. This is really good. The taller you are, the more you have to bend over your bike, the more weight you probably also have in your torso to bend over the bike and really do the downhill, enduro, or cross-country races that you're in. Last but certainly not least, Kang squats. With this, feet are just underneath my shoulders, so they're a little bit wider than my hips, a little bit wider than they were for the good mornings. From here, we're gonna go ahead, toes for me are pointed out a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and hinge at the hips, reach for my toes, grab them if you can, or grab here, whatever's good for you. Then I'm going to get a nice stretch again, and then come down into my squat. At the bottom of my squat, just hang out. I like to drive my elbows through those knees, get a nice little extension, or open up my knees a little bit more, open up those hips a little bit more. From here, you're gonna reverse it. You're gonna grab your toes, then extend those knees, come up. Hinge, grab the toes, squat down, hang out. For the Kang squats, again, 5 to 10 reps are really good. For the whole series of 7 movements that I just gave you, you're going to do 2 to 3 rounds through. Okay, so the next movement is the prime series. This is where we're doing jumps, bounds, any type of throws. You're going to want to go through this series twice. Now, it helps to have a partner, so if you have a partner in crime, grab him or her. And first things first, we're going to start off with jumping squats. So you're not actually even going to need either of these balls here. With the jumping squats, we're going to go ahead and do like we just did with the activation movements, with the Kang squats. Get in that squat stance. You're going to go head down. The first modification is pop squats. You're going to pop down, reach for the ground with your hands, come back in with your feet, and then go back out to the squat. That's how you can modify them. Or with jumping squats, you can go ahead down into a squat and jump up. You're going to open up your hips at full extension, getting as explosive as possible. Next, throws. I have a med ball here. It's pretty light, it's only 10 pounds. With this, you're going to hinge at your hips. You're gonna do some chest throws. Knees are nice and soft. Throw at the ground. With these, you only wanna do 5. Same thing with the jumping squats. Just do 5. It's just to prime you. You don't need that many reps because again, you're only going to go through 2 rounds. Then, broad jumps. All right, I need some space here. From here, you're gonna go as far as you can with this broad jump. Now, what it's gonna look like is you're going to load your body, athletic stance, arms are back, legs are loaded. From here, you load and explode. Opening up your hips as much as you can, come back, load, and explode. Open up those hips, get some power. All right, guys, so I definitely worked up a sweat even just with this warm-up in my garage. Hopefully this gets you warmed, primed, and ready for your next mountain bike race. If you have any questions about what I outlined today, just let me know, or you can check the notes below, or you can even add a comment below. Email me anytime at jen@shifthumanperformance.com, and good luck at your next race.